thousands of years, cannibalism was a terrifying reality for humans, and surprisingly, even today, this practice still exists on one remote island deep in the forests of Papua, Indonesia, lives a mysterious tribe. They build their homes high above the ground, nearly 50 feet up in the trees. For years, the outside world feared them, not just because they lived in isolation, but because of the stories surrounding them: ambushes, sudden attacks, killings, and tales of cannibalism. These people survive by hunting and gathering their food. Their nights are spent in wooden treehouses perched atop tall stilts, and their diet consists of insects, sago worms, and meat. If this is your first time on our channel, don't forget to subscribe. Today, we are diving deep into the life of the Kora tribe. This is not a story. These people are real, and what you're about to see is their everyday life. When outsiders first made contact with the Kora in the late 1970s, one shocking story after another began to spread. Journalists, missionaries, and anthropologists all heard the same thing. In this tribe, some groups punished so-called witches by killing them and eating their bodies, not out of hunger, and not simply to survive. This was justice according to their beliefs. They believed that anyone secretly practicing black magic, causing death, was called a kaku. If someone was suspected of being a kaku, no questions were asked. The person would be found, killed, and eaten. Each organ,
যদি মনে করত কেউ কাকুয়া, তাহলে কোনো প্রশ্ন করা হতো না, তাকে খুঁজে বের করা হতো, ধরা হতো, হত্যা করা হতো, তারপর তাদের খাওয়া হতো। যকৃৎ, মস্তিষ্ক, হৃৎপিণ্ড, প্রত্যেকটা অঙ্গের ছিল এক একটা অর্থ। এটা ছিল না বর্বরতা, এটা ছিল আইন, যা শত শত বছর ধরে চলে এসেছে। অরণ্যের গভীরে লোকচক্ষুর আড়ালে কিছু প্রবীণ করোয় সদস্য এই প্রক্রিয়ার বর্ণনাও দিয়েছেন, নিঃশব্দে, প্রশান্তভাবে, যেন বলছেন এটাই তো স্বাভাবিক। বাইরের মানুষ হতবাক, কেউ বিশ্বাসই করতে পারেনি, আবার কেউ সবকিছু নথিবদ্ধ করেছে। কিন্তু এখনকার অবস্থা কি? তারা কি এখনো বাইরের মানুষ খায়? এই মানুষ খেকোগুলো কি আজও বেঁচে আছে, নাকি অন্য কোনো কারণে শুধু এই গল্প বেঁচে আছে? সবই বলবো খুব শিগগিরই। তার আগে চলুন দেখি তারা কিভাবে বসবাস করে। পৃথিবীর আর কোথাও এমন বাড়ি আপনি দেখবেন না।
No shoes, no ropes, no safety belts. Next, wood is cut from nearby trees to start construction. Strong posts form the framework, thin branches create the floors, and layers of sago palm or goat leaves are used for surfaces. Everything is carried and assembled by hand. Vines are wrapped tightly around the structure to make it stable, without a single nail or screw. Every skill is learned and perfected over generations. The walls are made from tree bark, and the roof is covered with layers of goat leaves to keep out the rain. Fires are lit inside for cooking, but there are no chimneys, just a small opening in the roof that lets the smoke slowly rise and escape. But why build houses so high? It's not just for the view. The height protects them from insects, wild pigs, and snakes. In the past, it also offered safety from enemy tribes and surprise attacks. There's another reason: spiritual protection. They believe that the higher the house, the further it is from evil spirits that live beneath the ground. Once the house is built, the family moves in, and when the structure weakens over time, they abandon it and construct a new home nearby. The forest provides them with land, wood, and the strength to start anew. The Kora do not practice farming. They gather and harvest only what the jungle gives them, living entirely off the gifts of the forest. Their main food is sago, a dough-like paste made from the soft inner part of the sago palm. It is neither sweet nor salty, but it fills the stomach. First, an entire sago tree is cut down. Then the trunk is split open, and the soft inner core is extracted. The extracted pieces are mixed with water to separate the starch. The leftover pulp is boiled or wrapped in leaves and cooked over fire. For protein, they hunt, armed with bows. They go after wild pigs, birds, and small creatures that live among the trees. Hunting is a slow, methodical process, passed down through generations. They catch fish by hand and collect fruits according to the season. Now they are going on a hunt. Their trusted hunting dog leads the way. The Kora men move deep into the forest. The dog's job is to detect the scent of prey, warn the hunters, and point them in the right direction. But even with this four-legged companion, hunting requires patience, waiting for the signal. Once the signal comes, arrows fly with speed and precision, hitting their target. If an outsider were to enter this forest without food, survival would only last a few days. But for the Kora, food is everywhere, spread across the trees, hidden under leaves. Look at this tree, it's a sago palm. Its inner core is turned into that thick paste, the foundation of their diet. And those flower-like parts? They eat them like mushrooms, full of earthy aroma and life energy. This is the sago tree. The Kora harvest its parts carefully, using them for their daily sustenance, generation after generation. Today, once again, they gather from it, continuing the cycle that has sustained them for centuries. Now, the forest has yielded a rare delicacy, the sago worm. Look closely, tiny insects wriggle inside the tree trunk. Yes, they've found today's treasure. The worms are swarming in groups, ready to be harvested. Next, turn your attention to this plant. It's a wild tree found in the Korat forest, and even its leaves are collected. This is another essential ingredient. This is today's raw material, everything gathered straight from the jungle. Now it's time to take these ingredients back to their treehouse, where cooking preparations begin. Everything comes from the forest. First, they lay down a layer of dry sago starch. Then they sprinkle a type of edible soil called pica. Believe it or not, many indigenous communities around the world consume certain types of soil. Why? Because some soils contain beneficial minerals that protect the stomach from toxins, parasites, and harmful microbes. Next, they place hot stones directly onto the food. Everything is wrapped in large leaves, which trap heat and flavor inside. These leaf-wrapped parcels are then cooked over the fire. After about 45 minutes, they're unwrapped, and the feast begins. Some sago worms are roasted directly over the flames, like a jungle-style barbecue. These are the beetle larvae, harvested straight from the sago palm, rich in fat and protein. Cooking complete. Look at the color. It almost looks like a pizza made by the jungle itself. And the taste, incredible. The earthy aroma, the scent of grass. It's as if the flavor of the entire forest has been captured in every bite. Deep in the dense mangrove forests of southeastern Papua lies the eternal home of the Korai. For over 1,000 years, it is said, they have lived in this forest, hidden from the eyes of the outside world, surrounded on all sides by trees and wilderness near the border of Papua New Guinea. Everything changed in the 1970s, when Western anthropologists made contact with the Korai for the first time. Today, an estimated 3,000 Korai still live in this region. Some maintain limited contact with the modern world, while many others continue to live deep in the forest, completely untouched by modernity, living as their ancestors did. The Korai live in small, isolated groups. Each group is essentially one large family, sharing a single treehouse. They believe that spirits inhabit the trees, rivers, and even the wind, some benevolent, some terrifying. One of their greatest fears is the kakua, an invisible witch or sorcerer said to hide among ordinary people. If someone suddenly dies, it is not seen as illness or accident. They believe the death was caused by a kakua. This belief gave rise to a traditional form of justice. If a man from another group tried to abduct a Korat woman, that man would be captured, killed, and yes, eaten. That was their punishment. Men and women have different roles, but both are equally important. Both understand the jungle and are indispensable for survival. So, do the Korai still eat people today? The answer is no. They never eat humans for taste or nutrition. It is only ever a form of punishment. Thieves may be burned and eaten as part of justice. Some Korai have openly admitted that ritualistic cannibalism was practiced in the past, and some external researchers, journalists, and photographers have confirmed this with photos and interviews. But behind these acts was a very specific belief: punishment for those believed to cause death through magic. It was not random or insane behavior. To the Korai, it was justice. Today, most Korai say this practice no longer exists. Some claim it ended decades ago. Others insist it never truly happened, that the stories were told to impress or frighten outsiders, and some scenes were even staged for cameras. So what is the truth? What really happened? Was it fact, myth, or a combination of both? Cannibalism, whether real, remembered, or symbolic, was only a part of their story, and that story is still being written today. If you want to explore more unknown cultures, lost ways of life, and deep truths about humanity, subscribe to our channel. Together, let's discover the lives of the next mysterious tribe.